Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Firestarter by Stephen King, and keeping that Stephen King train going as I take on another one of his novels here. And I've seen the new film, and after reading this book, realizing how disappointed I am in what they did with this story, because this is an engaging and interesting story of scientific experimentation, desperation of college students, putting themselves up to get some extra money, doing some experiments, and then giving birth to a pyrokinetic child who does plenty of damage, that young Charlie. And you have this story of Andy McGee and Vicky Tomlinson, and you get their backstory, you get their connection that built, and I felt invested and I enjoyed their story and how their lives took a drastic turn thanks to the shop, which this is such a great concept, and this idea of this evil place where they do all these experimentations on people, and the fact that these two people who were experimented on give birth to a child who has these experimentations, who so happens to be able to produce fire, which there's some really tense and suspenseful moments that are built out of this, out of the government conspiracy. There's a lot of moments that have some real emotional heft too, in terms of how this nails you. You have these interesting dynamics between the parents, father and daughter, a lot of the time, as it's a lot of Andy and Charlie together. And that gives the heart and soul of this book and this story of their connection and how they support each other. Do I feel this book needed to be 550 pages? It's a little long. It's a little long for this story, but I do think they do a good job of balancing the different storylines of the past of Andy and Vicky together, how they come about having their child, how they get involved with the shop, and where this story of danger and loss takes us, and where Charlie winds up. She goes on such an interesting arc throughout this story, and that's the biggest moment of this, and seeing where she winds up with these powers and what she potentially could bring into the future. Would definitely be an interesting idea to, see a story of Charlie as an adult with these powers after going through all of this stuff. I think that would be a pretty cool thing. But for this story, I think it's a strong Stephen King story. It has heart and soul to it. We connect with these characters. There's these conspiracies and thrills and horrors that all get brought together with the shop and these mutated powers. And it's an engaging and thrilling journey, even if it might be a little tad over long. But definitely worth your time. Definitely a really good read from Stephen King. But those are my thoughts on Firestarter. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some books. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.